Illinois, an invasion is imminent. In this video, we'll discuss how you can stop it. I'm Madeline, and I'm a native plant gardener. On this channel, I'll be helping you find local native plants to grow in your state. But before we talk about Illinois native plants, I bet you're wondering why native plants matter. Here are 4 reasons. First, they are non-invasive, which means they won't kill local plant and animal life, unlike non-native invasive species. And reason number 2 is a no-brainer: easy maintenance. They need no fertilizers or pesticides, and they only need watering to get them started. They're well adapted to our local ecosystem. Reason number 3, native plants protect biodiversity, meaning that native plants help ensure a variety of native species within a particular ecosystem, which supports all the local flora and fauna. And the 4th reason is they help reverse climate change because they absorb and store CO2 and help remove the excessive amounts in the atmosphere. This helps cool down Earth. Go check out my video titled Native Plants versus Global Warming. More details about why you should plant native plants. Our first state in this series on the 50 states is Illinois, and I'm going to put a sticker on there. It is going to be a pollinator. I think Illinois could use, I don't know what these butterflies are, but here goes. It looks like a little monarch, maybe. So there we go. Illinois, here we go. Illinois is home to forests, prairies, wetlands, and meadows. The state has more than 100 native plant species, many found nowhere else in the world. Unfortunately, Illinois natives are at risk from an invasion of non-native species, since Illinois' environment is so diverse. You can help stop the invasion. With these 3 native plants you can easily grow. Goldenrod is the first native wildflower for Illinois gardeners. It's easy for you to grow in full sun and average soil. It could be wet, dry, clay. It'll still grow. Goldenrod is a very forgiving plant. It'll go with drought, clay soils, too wet, too dry. It'll do it. Here's a little story of my experience with goldenrod. Now, I don't live in Illinois. I used to, but I live in Oklahoma, but it grows in lots of states. Anyway, there was a neglected patch, supposed to be a garden bed on the side of our house. And it was kind of like between 2 houses, so it didn't get great sun all the time. It was probably shady in the late afternoon, maybe some sun around midday. So I kept pulling out these, what I thought were weeds, and they grew pretty tall, and they were just all leaves. So I'd yank them out every spring. And finally, I kind of neglected it. And at the top were some beautiful yellow flowers. And I finally identified this as giant goldenrod. Now, these things, I'm 5'2.5". These things were taller than me. They can grow to 6 feet tall. So unless you want a tall goldenrod, I'd advise you to go for a different species of goldenrod that's maybe 2 to 3 feet. The other thing I learned about goldenrod was that it does naturalize or spread quickly, is what that means, by itself with underground roots, or rot are called. So you probably will need to divide those plants every 2 or 3 years if it's of concern to you. Some of the goldenrod species produce a lot of nectar when it's warm or when there's a lot of moisture. This nectar is going to attract bees, wasps, butterflies. Birds are going to go for the seeds. So like I said, it attracts bees, butterflies, wasps, but it's deer resistant and drought resistant, and it'll also attract specialized bees. There's not just little honeybees buzzing around there. There are bees that start small and big ones and different colors, green, blue. I've seen a lot of them in my yard now that I have a lot of native plants. So You'll enjoy seeing what kind of bees and butterflies visit your goldenrod. So goldenrod is often used medicinally. The roots contain salicin, which is like salicylic acid, i.e. aspirin, for pain. Before we move on to the second plant, like and subscribe to catch more of my native gardening videos. And stick to the end of this video to learn even more of the best native plants for your area. Indian paintbrush is the second native wildflower you can grow in Illinois. Believe it or not, it's a member of the sunflower family, and it can grow in full sun and partial shade. It's an Illinois prairie native. This flower can grow up to 2 to 3 feet tall, and it will flower in July and August, at least in Illinois. I don't know if that's true for all the states it can grow in. The flowers are really pretty violet red, is how they're described, and they have yellow at the base, and bumblebees pollinate them. So it blooms in late summer, but it can also withstand snow, light snow, and cold. So it's a tough plant. But note that transplanting Indian paintbrush will usually kill it. Please don't go digging it up from a field or a roadside. Indian paintbrush is listed as endangered in some states, and it is extinct in about 5 others. And those states are Maine, New Hampshire, Delaware, Massachusetts, and Louisiana. I do know that we have it here in Oklahoma in the fields, along the roadsides. So the wildlife value of Indian paintbrush is that it attracts bees and hummingbirds and songbirds that also like to snack on nectar. So I'd like to show you one of my favorite gardening tools. It's called a Hydrahide gardening glove. And I didn't know this last year when I bought them, but it is made from recycled plastic bottles, which is awesome. Now, I got mine locally, but you can get this through my Amazon affiliate link down below. I'm going to put on the ones that I wore last year after I went through, I don't know how many pairs of those rubbery ones. I'm sure you've seen those. I wore holes in about 10 pairs. I was digging rocks to redo my rock garden, and these don't have holes. They're getting a little worn, but they've been through a lot. So I did buy 2 more pairs this year. So here's a brand new one. And they come in different sizes. You'll really like this baby, let me tell you. And it's water resistant. White yarrow, the last flower, but not the least, is a great choice for Illinois native gardeners. So white yarrow is a native perennial wildflower native to Illinois that comes in many sizes and colors, but white yarrow is the one that we know is native, and it's usually 1 to 2 feet tall. White yarrow likes full sun and kind of moist soil. I have seen it growing in Illinois, in Oklahoma, however, and we typically have periods of drought, and so I think it can survive some of that. You don't want to have to be watering these guys. The flowers are small and white, and they're clustered together and look like big bouquets when they're blooming. White yarrow is a great choice when you need a cooling white to mix in with some bright colors of wildflowers. Wildlife value of white yarrow is that it provides lots of nectar for bees, butterflies, and other beneficial insects. It also attracts lots of native bees. Are you ready to plant native wildflowers in your area? I'd love to help you. Comment below with your state, and I'll release a video soon on native plants for your state. Subscribe and hit the bell to be notified as I release videos for all 50 states on the best native plants. Plus, you can get step-by-step help to find your best plants today by downloading my free guide, How to Find the Best Native Plants in Your Area, right here.